So Amazon is really interesting. Top companies is a list based on data. We're looking at the actions of LinkedIn member, more than 600 million around the world. And what we've seen in the past few years of reporting top companies is that employer brand and consumer brand in a news cycle can be quite different things. People want to work on solving big problems and have impact. And I think you could argue Amazon is one of the more impactful companies in the world today.
I still can't get away from the fact that their warehouse workers had to fight hard and finally got $15 an hour in the States as well. And people in the United Kingdom still complain about their working practice for a lot of these lower end employees. Are people getting things mixed up a little bit? Are people looking at the brands they use and compare and say, oh yeah, that's a great brand, I like that. In Jeffrey, in my era, Coca-Cola or Levi Strauss or what have you. In the modern era, it's I use Amazon or I use Google, so hence I want to work for those. Are people confusing brand with actual work practices?
Perhaps, and certainly some of those stories about Amazon have been concerning. What LinkedIn Insights show is that so far this has not had an impact on their ability to attract top talent. And you're looking at their growth around the world, they're certainly hiring at an incredible pace.
Just one more for me. People go on LinkedIn, I understand it, to look for jobs in many ways. I mean, I know there's lots of other great things on there, but it is for a lot of people to kind of say, I'm looking for new opportunities or whatever they say on these things now as well. Do people go on LinkedIn to look for jobs at the likes of JP Morgan's of this world or the likes of Sainsbury's of this world? Because I kind of can't help thinking it's for a professional echelon rather than for people looking to get in at perhaps lower salary levels.
Well, actually, the membership of LinkedIn has really broadened and really grown in the past few years. So you're looking at 600 million plus around the world, 26 million in the UK. So you're really looking at a pretty broad cross section today of the workforce.
Lots of interesting ideas come out of this. I'm just wondering if you can help us try and sort of nail whether these are true narratives. There are a lot of banks on the lists when you look at the UK, Germany and France, and yet we're used to talking in public debate about banks still having reputational damage from the financial crisis and continuing to suffer fines even 10 years after the crisis. Yet that doesn't seem to be a deterrent for people who are looking for a workplace.
Yeah, again, you have professionals looking for places where they can work on big problems and have an impact. Banks are really interesting because we're seeing a big shift in the profiles of the kind of people that they're hiring. And a lot of these companies across all the industries are sort of competing for the same talent now. If you're looking at the skills that are growing in all these companies, it's tech skills across the board. So banks have been very aggressive in recruiting software engineers and data scientists and various tech talent as well.
And have you driven or drilled further into the data to look at the demographics of this? Because the C-suite were told that the millennial employee is different. They rate things like ESG much more highly than just, do they have a good pension plan? Will I get decent compensation? But the message that's coming through here is perhaps that is not necessarily true. That may be a lip service to a survey, but it doesn't reflect the way people are actually positioning their careers.
I think it's partly true. So I did some reporting on NG, which shows up on the UK and the French list, and they've had this big transformation and are very vocal now about renewables and environmental responsibility. And the number of CVs that they've received in the past 3 years has doubled. So we are seeing an impact of that sort of brand shift on their attractiveness to employees. But that said, people are looking, and you look at the UK list, for big, stable, established companies where they can have a solid career.
And just a very quick last one. Should we take this as a negative when it comes to the entrepreneurial culture that we're hoping to see flourish currently? Because it suggests that people want to go and work for companies that are stable and large and have been around for a long time, not necessarily startups that are much riskier and perhaps give them less job security.
Well, for this particular list, we looked at companies of more than 500 employees. So, have me back in the fall, we have a top startups list, and we'll be looking at some of the smaller up-and-coming companies.
Hi, I'm Joanna Bersecci, and thank you for watching. You can check out more of our videos by clicking on the boxes on the screen. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more from CNBC International. Thank you for watching.